Bravo, Danny Boyle. Bravo. Hey everyone, so finally 28 years later has released, and here's my review. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, I always want to hear what you have to say about it. To start off with, this is a spoiler-free review, so nothing is going to ruin the movie for you. Just sit back, relax, and let's go through it. So 28 years later is a film released in 2025 starring Alfie Williams, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Ralph Fiennes and Jodie Comer, directed by Danny Boyle. So straight away what I'll say about this film is it is fantastic. This is a movie that combines the themes of coping with loss and coping with death alongside the themes of lost innocence and the de-evolution of society as well. This film would have quite easily stood alone on its own without having the backdrop of the rage virus behind it. But that rage virus story that comes along with the previous two movies just adds an extra layer of depth to this. To start off with, we're introduced to the main character, who this time is a 12-year-old boy named Spike, played by Alfie Williams. Now, Spike is ultimately part of a new community, a new society that has detached itself away from the mainland UK after it was quarantined as a result of the rage virus being widespread across it. Any humans that had remained on the mainland and survived the outbreak were left to fend for themselves against the infected. And that's what's led to this community moving across onto a separate island away from the mainland in order to stay safe. But Spike is going with his dad to the mainland as a rite of passage to get his first kill of an infected at the age of 12. It's something that seemingly everyone in the village has to go through and is almost a mark of celebration. What's also interesting about Spike is that he lives with his mum and his dad, and his mum is ill with some undiagnosed illness that includes excruciating pain in her head and also spells of confusion. And that's ultimately his goal throughout this movie. After discovering that whilst being told there were no doctors in existence anymore, he discovers that there is a doctor actually living on the mainland. And after learning some survival skills from his dad after his first visit, his quest is to get his mum over to the mainland to go and see this doctor and try and find a cure for what is causing her so much pain. And without doing the story a disservice, ultimately what it is at the heart of it is a quest movie, but with those added themes and that added emotional depth that comes with it, with the relationship between Spike and his mum. But to add a little bit extra to this story, what we have is an evolution of the infected. It was previously established in the other movies that after 5 weeks they died of starvation. However, what we can see from Spike's first trip to the mainland is that the infected have found a way to keep themselves alive for a lot longer. And it also includes the more traditional screaming infected that we have seen in the previous movies that run after people relentlessly and just chew on them until either they're infected themselves or they're dead. But the key difference here is the existence of the alphas that ultimately lead the screaming infected. And explained later on in the film that the alphas were ultimately created as a result of the rage virus having an almost steroid effect on those people who it was infecting. And these alphas are a lot smarter, they're a lot stronger, a lot bigger, and a lot tougher to kill than anything else we've come across before. Usually, in the previous movies, it was a case of one hit takes out an infected, but this time it's not the case anymore. And it just adds that extra level of dread and extra level of anxiety in every single scene because you don't know where it's coming from. The risk is increased, the drama, the anxiety, the stakes are just a lot higher than they have been in the previous two movies, and all of that is just a backdrop to the overall theme of the movie. And what Danny Boyle does is something absolutely incredible, the emotional payoff towards the end of the movie, which I'm not going to spoil, but you need to go and see for yourself. It would have been so easy for Danny Boyle and Alex Garland just to rely on nostalgia, rehash the same script from 28 Days Later for a modern audience and put, say, the alphas in this, for example. But they didn't. They took a risk on a much deeper story, and this is all the better for it. And in actual fact, they have to be admired for taking such an incredible risk and it paying off absolutely incredibly. So overall, this is a fantastic movie and one that I highly recommend you guys going and seeing for yourself. Emotional roller coaster from start to finish and not a single minute wasted throughout the entire movie. My rating here, 4 stars. So what did you think about this movie? And now that we've covered all of the 28 Days Saga, why don't you pop down which one is your favourite and where this one ranks amongst the others. As always, I'd love to hear what your comments and what your thoughts are below, so please pop everything down in the comments section and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.